Hello and welcome to the classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm your host Nate Washburn, and this week the movie is from 1936, My Man Godfrey, produced by Universal Pictures, starring William Powell and Carole Lombard, directed by Gregory LaCava. Now, My Man Godfrey is a screwball comedy. Screwball comedies were popular during the Depression. The general characteristics are fast-paced dialogue, a humorous battle of the sexes, plot lines centering on courtship and or marriage, escapist themes. Godfrey fits the bill perfectly. So the general story. Godfrey Smith, played by William Powell, he's a homeless, jobless man, a forgotten man. He's living in the city dump on the East River in Manhattan. He is discovered there by the two daughters of the wealthy Bullock family. They're taking part in a scavenger hunt. Now, in order to win the scavenger hunt, they need to find a forgotten man and bring him to the Waldorf Ritz Hotel and present him to the other wealthy people who are playing the game. Godfrey reluctantly agrees to go along with them just because he wants to see what type of people would play such a game with other people's lives. Also, he wants to tell these people what he thinks of them. He gets in front of the crowd and unleashes a tirade where he calls them nitwits. Then Irene Bullock, beautifully played by Carole Lombard, impulsively she hires Godfrey as the family's butler. Of course, Irene's feelings quickly turn romantic, and Godfrey has a few secrets of his own. This story is actually a really interesting criticism of how the jobless and homeless were treated during the Depression, because you never really know what someone was before their downfall, before they fell on hard times. It's a theme that comes up a bunch throughout this movie. Now, Carole Lombard basically runs away with this film. She was one of the greatest female comediennes of all time. By the end of the 30s and early 40s, she was one of the highest paid actresses in all of Hollywood. Now, William Powell is the definition of the suave, sophisticated movie star. Powell and Lombard are awesome together on screen. And it's funny because they actually were married from 1931 to 1934 and split up amicably. When Powell got offered the role of Godfrey, he insisted that there was only one actress who could play Irene, Carole Lombard. So clearly they have a good relationship after their divorce if he insists on his ex-wife playing the role. He was quoted at the time as saying the reason that he thought Lombard was perfect for it was the relationship between Godfrey and Irene mirrored the relationship between Powell and Lombard when they were married. And the supporting cast in the movie should be noted as well. Alice Brady plays Angelica Bullock, the matriarch. She's drunk, she's a bit of a dope, and she spends all of her time hanging out with this guy Carlo, her protege. Carlo's played by Misha Auer. He's this musician who basically spends his time spending the Bullock's fortune and eating their food. It's this really weird dynamic, really sort of funny take on the wealthy at the time, you know, like this patroness, this matriarch who's spending her money. She's supporting the arts. She's fulfilling the promise of this musician by supporting him, and yet in a weird way, he's kind of like a gigolo and a freeloader. He doesn't do much. His music's pretty lousy, and he's just kind of there. Now, My Man Godfrey was released in September of 1936 and was a big hit for Universal Pictures, and it earned 6 Academy Award nominations. Best Director for Gregory LaCava, Best Actor for William Powell, Best Actress for Carole Lombard, Best Supporting Actress for Alice Brady, Best Supporting Actor for Misha Auer, and Best Screenplay for Eric Hatch and Maury Riskind. Now, it did not win any of the Academy Awards. It's actually a record which wasn't matched until 2013. American Hustle was also nominated for these 6 awards and didn't win anything. Little trivia for you here. My Man Godfrey is the first movie to be nominated in all 4 top acting categories of the Academy Awards. Best Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress. It's also the only movie in history to be nominated for those 4 awards that was not nominated for Best Picture. And it's one of the few that has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So next time you're looking for a great comedy or a classic movie to watch, check out My Man Godfrey. It is this week's classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm Nate Washburn. Keep watching.